Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce to you the revolutionary Terran player. On a hot streak lately, it is the Admiral. It's GuMiho. But he's up against one of the greatest challenges you can have in the entirety of the game. Here in the GSL Code S, I give you the 6-time champion. It is the man, the myth, the Maru. I don't blame GuMiho one iota for attempting to get that early advantage against the player whose TVT is rated highest in the world in a tournament whose TVT is essentially half of it. Maru is the favorite here. Maru is the favorite in pretty much any tournament held in Korea. But who doesn't love an underdog story? And GuMiho makes for some of the most entertaining ones. So if you enjoy, if you're looking forward to this, you want to see some more of the GSL, or just good games for the fans, well, it'd be awesome if you could like, subscribe, if you haven't made it there yet. Oh my god, blocking off the Reaper with the NG Bay. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,085 likes. I'll cast another series. Taking recommendations as well, but I'll probably do it anyways. But number go up, says YouTube. And when number go up, life's good. Number not go up, not as good.
The numbers don't lie.
All right, and the duels begin. Gonna kill the very first SCV, but past that, able to shut down any extra shenanigans. Behind this, Maru's SCV actually got into GuMiho's base, which means he's gonna be able to look around. Maru blocked with an NG Bay to delay the Reaper. He didn't find the barracks, but he found the lack of barracks on the other side of the map. So, I don't think this is going to find a conclusion anytime soon. Jimmy, I can't even... I want to feel like I'm there. Thank you. Well, the early Reaper, just to... If Maru had the hubris to not scout, to expand on the low ground, then maybe you get a bit of an advantage. Oh, that SCV is suspicious. Starport. Okay. Neo-Humanity makes for some interesting games, a little bit less standard than your average map. You got the mineral halls to one of the third bases. A more conventional one. We got the rich Vespine in the center. I don't think I've seen any particular late game TVTs on this map. I can imagine. It looks kind of similar to the other matchups with a whole lot of Sky Terran. But GuMiho, oh wow, nice dodge there, is essentially the premier. No, my god, he took the bait. Well, here comes a Cyclone, so it might not be the end of the world. Overlord floating in. Not a bad Did I say Overlord? I'm sorry. Freudian slip there. When the barracks was acting like an Overlord, I couldn't tell the difference. You can tell because the barracks is faster. It's like, oh my god, you're right. Yes. A Liberator proxy to follow it up. GuMiho by no means all in here. Putting a lot of pressure on using the barracks and the Cyclone. Grenades from the low ground. Maneuvering around. And this is what GuMiho's so good at. Is GuMiho is a tactical player. It's not meant as disparaging when I say he's not the fastest player around, but he might be the smartest, especially when it comes to Terrans, as he's so focused on having the units in the right place. It doesn't matter so much if his splits are perfect, his micro his reaction time is perfect, because he doesn't need to have that. He's already in position, so that way you don't need to react if you're proactive. And GuMiho's quite a pro at it. Alright, Cyclone actually outranges the siege tank slightly once the lock-on. Magfield Accelerator Cyclones. I didn't even touch on that. I was too busy singing his general praises to get more specific. GuMiho with already opening mech. He's the Liberator. Okay, so GuMiho apparently has figured out a spot. I've talked about map design in StarCraft 2 and essentially how all maps are designed around things like Liberators, and... well, it appears GuMiho found the one angle that Marines cannot hit. So a Viking or a Cyclone or something is required from Maru. He's been denied. Oh no, he went the wrong way! and he loses a couple extra Marines because of it. Another Liberator sieges up at the natural. I'm pretty sure there's a spot, and there's enough Marines to deal with it. But GuMiho, really working, carving out parts of Maru's base. Right now, it's all GuMiho, with Maru constantly on the back foot. Maru might have stim. What are you going to do with it? He's got 13 Marines, got 2 medevacs on the way now. He had to build Vikings. I think he wanted to just go straight for the tank push. Whoa! Maru hits the stims. Getting antsy. GuMiho expanding on the low ground to his third. He does have to defend the counter. Once the first two... Ooh. And that's quite a scan there. Interesting indeed. Yeah, drops the scan on it. Viking is chasing down. This was a bit optimistic, Maru. There are mag-field cyclones on the field, so chasing down a floating barracks is probably not an incredibly high priority. Alright, thank you. Thank you. What have we done? You know what? We're gonna pretend it's Brood War Remastered, okay? Who changed the graphic settings? What do you mean we were playing 1v12 AI? Yes, I'll totally beat 1v12 AI any day now. Look forward to the video. It's a disaster. Ooh, siege tank. Blast through. Command center count growing dramatically for Maru. He's doubling, going up to 4 CCs. And GuMiho now has 2 factories and 2 reactored starports. Mass Viking will be the choice. Maru also going Vikings, realizing essentially you can't give up air control. Giving up air control, eventually, there were times in StarCraft 2 where you could throw Marines and Marauders into the meat grinder. Use the What? That siege tank. Just testing its weapons. But those times have... GuMiho starts. Fusion! He's going mass Viking. Sure, he might want some advanced ballistics to move his way forward. But GuMiho, of all players, the Admiral, I don't think will disappoint. As if there was any player to show Maru how it's done, I think GuMiho is the one. I don't know if he'll go straight to the cruisers, but... And he starts... Oh, that answers my question. With an exclamation point. Yamato cannon. Online. Well, not online. On the way. It begins. GuMiho's going Battlecruisers. Very clearly. Straight to Battlecruisers. After the proxy Rex, no hesitation in between. Maru scans. And, yep, he sees a fusion core upgrading. So what does Maru do? There are 2 Battlecruisers in production. Maru adding on an armory here. Maru playing catch-up when it comes to the mech upgrades, as GuMiho went straight there, whereas Maru only has some trickle-down mechanomics. He's got plenty of command. There hasn't really been any sort of neither player willing to throw away a potentially map control at this stage of the game. You overcommit, you lose all your Vikings, and that's it. It's going to be almost impossible to retain map control past that point. And if you don't have map control, Battlecruisers become one of the most difficult units to deal with in the game. The only thing Maru has going for him is the mobility of his army. He can prevent the Battlecruisers from being sent out and being able to tactical jump back so easily. But if he ends up losing enough army supply, well then, the Battlecruisers have the run of the place. And eventually he'll get ground down. We first upgrades. Yeah, we have basic unit upgrades. you Bronze League Terrans out there. So most of you should be enjoying Blue Flame, Yamato Cannon, and Magfield Accelerator. Those are GuMiho's only upgrades. That's all he needs. Well, he's also getting armor, because armor against pretty much everything. The Battlecruisers come with, is it 2 or 3 base armor? I don't know, a whole lot. But you add to it, it makes it that much harder. The Marines are essentially useless, which is kind of lore accurate, but also concerning for Maru's army. He takes down, oh my, it actually takes these down as well. He takes down the rocks in the Bone Trench, forcing GuMiho to go around a little further. Both players are looking to expand towards the center. A Venn diagram scan. Battlecruisers. First sortie is sent out. And it's Maru's turn. There's only one counter to GuMiho with Battlecruisers. You gotta go Battlecruisers, well, or Raven, but I don't think Ravens are gonna cut it. Has more Battlecruisers on the field. Assuming we get there. I don't think these Battlecruisers are gonna end the game, but he jumps away before the Ravens can scramble them with interference matrix. He draws the Vikings out of position and tries to take the fight in the midfield. The Liberator siege is up, but the Vikings have already moved in. GuMiho with a severe lack of Ravens here. Siege tanks moving in. Magfield accelerated Cyclones knock out the siege tank. More scrambles on the front line, allowing Maru to move a little further forward. 8 Vikings at a time. Whole Scandinavia of Vikings for GuMiho here. He's got 17 Vikings, the 2 Battlecruisers. Maru is now researching Yamato Cannon. He's got 4 Liberators in production. He's already got 21 Vikings and 7 Ravens. GuMiho sieges up on the low ground, blasting through anything in range. But there are plenty of tanks for Maru to stall the advance. Ship weapons level 1 completing for GuMiho. Matching that, the only basic unit upgrades are the ship weapons. 10 Vikings at a time! My god. GuMiho understands the magnitude of production you need. And Battlecruisers, so Battlecruisers are actually weakest overall against Terran, as Ravens can disable them. Vikings are quite efficient at kiting them. Even if you have Yamato, the Viking count gets so high they can knock Battlecruisers right out of the sky. So GuMiho, I'm not actually sure how the Vikings will fare against the Ravens, but the Vikings have enough range and micro-ability that GuMiho might just be able to kite the entire army back. Maru using his Medivacs for temporary vision, anti-armor missile, but you gotta follow it up somehow. It doesn't change the equation between the Vikings too much. Does GuMiho have enough? Battlecruisers gliding in towards the natural. He's fighting through the Dorito dust here. He's just trying to trade. I don't think this is going incredible for GuMiho. Yamato Cannon now done as Maru adds Battlecruisers down. 20 Vikings to 8. GuMiho, it isn't incredible. He jumps away out of the main. He gets a couple Vikings on the way out. But I think GuMiho overestimated his Viking count a bit. The anti-armor missile increases the damage taken by 2. It's essentially, it is a little odd in how it works. But since Vikings do so much damage already, I think it reduces the amount of volleys, maybe by 1. So it would... Marines get a huge amount of benefit from anti-armor missiles, because Marines shoot real fast, but for low damage, whereas Vikings shoot rather slowly, but for high damage, so armor is less relevant, which is why they're so good at taking out Battlecruisers, but also why anti-armor missile is not the be-all, end-all. Now Maru's the one. 3 Battlecruisers at a time. He should soon have cruiser superiority. GuMiho's up to 31 Vikings. He's building a couple Ravens for himself. We may very well see 50 Vikings. It's going to be over 100 Vikings. All right, in this game, not at once. You can't. Well, I guess you could have 100, but literally nothing else. Jumps away some of the cruisers. GuMiho, with the 2 cruisers and a couple Cyclones, actually takes out another base. Let's take a look at the mining. Maru still has an advantage there. Jumps away. Starport count. He's got 6 to 5 starports. Cyclone just chilling. Micro back being as much of an annoyance as possible. Vikings will drop down. Sensor towers dotting the field. Down goes the Viking. Or the Cyclone, rather. A Thor from Maru. Wow, GuMiho going back to the future. This is some 2010 Terran right here. Siege tanks and Vikings. A couple Battlecruisers thrown in for good measure, but Siege tank Viking. Absolute classic Terran versus Terran unit composition. The Siege tanks with the Vikings have the ability to get more vision, though I don't think with this many scans, vision's going to be an issue for either side. But the Siege tanks allow you to edge forward, especially combined with Liberators or Battlecruisers to push the issue. 9 more turrets. High-sec auto-tracking. The turrets per minute skyrockets, and the skyrockets will be built. Viking. What is the Viking count? 24 to 38! Approaching a record. They're both at 87 SCVs, which is apparently the perfect number. In fact, it's probably too high for both players. The Battlecruisers. Gliding through, looking for the planetary. The Vikings will engage. He knows that standing still for Yamato cannon is likely a death sentence. Battlecruiser's not a cheap unit. At least in resources. Jumps away before the interference matrix can lock him down. 38 Vikings, oh my god. Anti-armor missile. Dorito dusting Marus. Everyone. Is anti-armor missile making it even or fair? Plus a 3 plating. So 3-3 now finished for Maru. 2-3 for GuMiho. Battlecruisers launch out of Yamato trying to slap some turrets down. Not gonna happen. GuMiho just sending out, you can see on the mini-map, just sending out waves of battlecruiser. I don't know if those are the same 2 cruisers. 8, 13 kills. How many has he lost? 0. Well, 4 turrets. Actually, quite a difficult thing to engage right now. He may lose a battlecruiser to turrets. No scans across the board. Or the bow, I guess. Oh, the Vikings are coming! Does he have? He does not have tactical jump, but he has Vikings! He moves to intercept. Anti-armor missile will chase down. GuMiho microing his Vikings, almost attacking while moving. Beautiful Viking micro. Could potentially drop down a couple of them. A bunch of battlecruisers from Maru, but the turrets are coming up. Are they in time? Well, a full spread of Yamato. Gonna knock out most of the turrets there. But the battlecruisers jump into the fray. I don't know. Is it worth it? He fires the Yamato offs, which helps. 3-3 for both sides. The battlecruisers chase each other, but they do like no damage because they have so much armor. Scratching the paint. The Yamato cannon, the only thing that can punch through. Did you know that one 3-3 battlecruiser can beat 5-0-0 battlecruisers? With no Yamato, that is. That's how good the armor. Fun fact. Takes a while, though. It's 4 or 5. It's at least 4. I'm pretty sure it's 5. Upgrade's a huge deal in these fights. The laser batteries do not do particularly much damage, so armor is applied a whole lot. Anti-armor missile also very much helps battlecruisers versus battlecruisers, much like Marines. But Maru is starting to build quite a siege line here. He's got a little more in the, well, GuMiho, both sides. What is the turret count? 30, 26 missile turrets and counting. SCVs being sent out. Maru with mass missile turret. Vikings on deck for GuMiho as we're going into a very, well, not really a base trade. Maru was at 8 battlecruisers with 24 Vikings. GuMiho 34 Battlecruisers and 33 Vikings. Neither of them particularly fond of missile turrets, but both of them plenty capable of taking them out. Scan, spots the location, censored towers. Maru is up to... he's built over 50 turrets. Both sides. This is like it's like one of those custom games, essentially. This is what we've devolved/evolved to. Missile turret pushes and mass Viking battlecruiser. Quite an advanced Terran versus Terran. The gas is starting to mine out. Siege tanks are almost deadweight supplies. The Vikings can land and kill most of the static defense. I mean, SCVs are also kind of deadweight supply. What is the BC count? 10 to 4. Oh, he scans. He got a jump! He jumps onto the... Wait. Whoa, I don't know. There's some missile turrets. GuMiho lines up the Yamatos before Maru could respond. Ravens moving forward. Scrambles 2 cruisers. Anti-armor missile. Coats some of GuMiho's Vikings. And what is the end result? They're both still maxed, but GuMiho, I think, has a bit of a better position here. Anti-armor missile on a lot of Maru's Vikings. And GuMiho moving in towards the production. He's got 36 Vikings. SCVs coming across. It looks like... Are they walled up? They're not walled up. I can't tell if he's studying the SCVs. He's just building a supply depot out here. Not... Is that a misclick? Why can't I go above 200? Also, why can't SCVs attack air if they can repair air? Well, GuMiho's shoving in towards the production, and getting to the production could be a potential checkmate. Anti-armor missile across everything right now. Battlecruisers firing off Yamatos. Maru losing his battlecruisers, but cutting through the Vikings. It looks like GuMiho's Viking count is starting to carry it through. Maru has so much money in the bank, but GuMiho's winning the fight. The Viking count is still marginally in favor. It's a production issue. Right now, GuMiho is on Maru's base. Maru is rebuilding his starports. Yamato, on whatever he can get, jumps away from his own main. Just kind of a devastating. SCVs! SCVs are in the fight. He has to rebuild his... Well, he's rebuilding his fusion core. Maru is losing his main. Maru will not have this production. In fact, well, GuMiho was trying to get rid of the SCVs somewhat, I think, but didn't manage it. Still, almost dozens of turrets throughout the map. GuMiho is making turrets in Maru's main and successfully using them to shoot down flying buildings, which is some of the next level gameplay that I expected when I saw this series. Oh, Maru, he jumped away, which means tactical jump is on cooldown. And GuMiho knocks down a couple more. Maru is evacuating his buildings, but GuMiho is well equipped to intercept them. The Vikings laying so much damage into even flying command centers. Oh my god. GuMiho is mining from the top right. Maru still has so much money in the bank. He can't spend it. He can't build. I heard a tactical jump, and it's anyone's guess. I've always thought that the tactical jump sounding like you misclicked a button on the interface is a little bit, you know, of a missed opportunity. Because the little click, I always thought it should be like, I don't know, or something a little more dramatic than sounding like you opened the menu. Like the Nidus or the Nuke. But well, Maru rebuilding what he can. He's still, well, he's gone through most of his money. He's actually supply blocked. He lost so many depots. SCV's killing mules, Hellbats. There's a turret. He can't even lift the command center. GuMiho is carving up the map. What is 42 Vikings? Is that the answer? Well, the battlecruisers are gonna look to pick a fight here. The Yamato, he needs to try to trade with it. But the Vikings knocks down a cruiser. There's still enough, like, there... Wow, he pulled many of the units out of the main. Trying to pin down Maru. There's... I don't know how much gas. He's mined out of most of the gas. We've made a real efficient job of mining out neo-humanity. There really isn't that much gas left across the board. There's plenty of minerals, but only like the side bases have any Vespine gas in the bank. And GuMiho coming with the Battlecruisers again. Maru's cornered. He's got a lot of army supply, but his bank is now gone. He needs to somehow break out of this corner, but the missile turrets, the Battlecruisers, drawing fire, jumps away, loses one, chasing down the other cruisers, though. The Vikings, bait and switch. He's firing off a volley of Yamatos, but the sheer damage output of the Vikings is too damn high. The battle lines in the sky have been drawn. He's trying to use the Vikings to buffer for the Battlecruisers. It's not gonna be enough. GuMiho's closing in. And Maru will be the one knocked down. The Vikings from GuMiho overwhelming the Tacticruisers. Over, oh my god, almost 150 Vikings. Look at that efficiency. Losing 15k less minerals, 4,800 less gas. 23 Battlecruisers lost for Maru to 8 for GuMiho. There's a reason he is the Admiral. Even though he didn't build more Battlecruisers, I'd argue they were each worth almost twice as much. Just the Tacticruisers drawing him out of position. Also, that entire game was so well set up from GuMiho. Maru was following his lead the entire time. You know how hard it is to get the best player in GSL? Like the entire, that looked like a Bronze League Heroes match. What is the Bronze League Heroes? You usually have the either the pick ban strategy, the pick ban style, which is when, like, oh, you went Battlecruisers, I guess I have to build Thors, which are the only 2 units you're allowed to build, obviously. Or the, hey, can I steal your work? Like, the, oh, those Battlecruisers look really good. I'm gonna build some Battlecruisers. Oh, that turret push. It felt like Maru was checking GuMiho's notes mid-game and saying, oh yeah, that's a good idea. He wanted to go bio. He wanted to go Marine tank. But the weakness of these flesh-based unit compositions shown when thrown into the grinder against the sheer amount of siege tanks early and the superiority of Sky Terran later. And now it's Maru's turn for the multi-racks. Maru's turn to try to get something done with multiple barracks. Because GuMiho strategically outplayed him. Wow. Massive missile turret Viking Battlecruiser. Now what? Ancient Cistern. So Neo-Humanity is a much easier to defend map. Ancient Cistern has a lot of open space, a lot of flanking opportunity. It's a lot harder to lock down your bases with just a few siege tanks. Not impossible, but and also, even though GuMiho got very little done with the early proxy, I think, and then the Liberator that Liberator positioning was perfect. Usually, most maps and most locations, there is you can't set up a Liberator without the Marines being able to hit it from one side. But GuMiho picked the location where the Liberator was just right off the edge slightly, and it was so perfect that the Marines were getting shot. Right, they just couldn't get in range. Maru required a Viking, and that tiny attention to detail. That's something. It only costs 1 APM to set, or well, I guess 2 or 3 to set up your Liberator right. But it makes the difference. SCV here. It's gonna be 2 Reapers. SCV to draw some fire. The grenade knocked it up, and then the Hellion burned it out of the sky there. So, Maru has... I mean, GuMiho did SCV scout? No, he didn't actually get across. And now the Reaper trying to get something. But, no, I don't... There's 2 Hellions and a Reaper. 2 Hellions is too many. Maru's gonna try to micro it, but this is a dangerous game he's playing, as those Hellions. This army can definitely fight what Maru has. Surprised the SCV isn't repairing. Somehow GuMiho gets another Reaper back home. Keeping everything together. There you go, the SCV repairing the Hellions on the field. The attention to detail. I'm loving GuMiho's play lately. It is just another style. It's just like Cure is also a very tactical Terran, but Cure is like say nice things. All right. Cure is like a battering ram. Okay. Cure will just inevitably, it doesn't matter, you can hit him with whatever, sticks and stones may break his bones, but words will always hurt him. Or wait. But anyways, Cure just builds enough units to break down your door. Doesn't matter how many times you poke and prod at him, he's gonna break it down. GuMiho is a very direct style, but like in that last game. He's like a hostage negotiator, okay? He'll lull you into a false sense of security, make you feel it's safe to come outside, and then boom, Battlecruisers in your base. Maru going triple CC, double NG Bay. Also, I think it's that GuMiho uses all the other units. Alright, what was that? Magfield Cyclone, Blue Flame Hellion into Battlecruiser. Yeah. Not Marine Tank. I don't even know if he made any Marines that game. I think he did. I think there were a few in the beginning. But I'm not sure. He may have played that entire game without Marines. Now this game, GuMiho certainly has some. Maru going to have more, as is customary. Maru just wants to micro his Marines. That's what he wants. He's wondering why GuMiho won't let him. As it's going to be 1-1, 3cc, double medevac. All the early shenanigans here. Double Liberator is on the way behind GuMiho with a 1 base. It's not a 1 base, but a 1/1/1 Destiny Cloud Fist. Raven tank push. And he somehow come across the map before Maru realized it. He managed to evade anything here. And Maru, oh no, Maru loaded up at the worst. He has no idea until that first siege tank shot landed. He had no idea. Oh no. Maru under siege before he even realized it. The bunker will fall. He has to send the Marines out in the medevacs. He doesn't know where to go. He's got 3 Reapers on the other side. But GuMiho is not resting here. Oh, thankfully for Maru, we managed to unsiege the tank in time before the interference matrix. Looks like the citizens' arrest back at home. He got the Reapers out of there. Maru just sending the double drop across the map. GuMiho has to know there's something coming across. He sieges up the tank. Maru scans forward. It's pretty clear what's happening right now, especially once the double medevac drops out. Meanwhile, GuMiho is still sieging his way through. Knocks out the combat shield. Denies that extra HP on the Marines. So important for dealing with the tanks. And now will not be happening. But the double drop slicing through into the natural. SCVs decide maybe they can take it. They definitely can't. Losing a lot of them. 13 SCVs down, but GuMiho still has a entrenched position right underneath Maru's base. Scrambles one of the tanks. The Liberators working their way forward. There's almost no anti-air to deal with this. There's just nothing he can do to stop it. GuMiho approaching checkmate here. Takes out another tank. Blasting through the production. Yet again, Maru going to be left with no real ability to build units. Scrambles one of the tanks. Slaps down an auto turret. The siege tank's more than in range. And it looks like GuMiho. Well, the medevacs... Oh, God, that's so sad. The medevacs have to come back home. They killed some workers on the other side. But certainly didn't do enough to stop GuMiho. And now what? Maru throws everything into the medevacs, drops on top. But there are some Marines, some Hellions. Will Maru be able to survive this? Yes, but at what cost? And the oh no, the NG base. Oh my God. He can't do anything about it. His own buildings are in the way. He's tempting. But the Viking! Do Vikings outrange Marines on the ground? See, I didn't even know that. I guess so. Or it's equal either way. The Vikings looking to shoot down. This is just like the rush version of the speed version of last game. Once again, Maru desperately floating his buildings across the map, trying to figure out where he can actually mine from. Where GuMiho is locking it down. He's perfectly fine back at home. He's done all this with 3 production facilities and working on 4 command centers. Maru can't believe it. Alright, he takes out one of the Liberators. He's still fighting. But... GuMiho 2-0 versus Jimmy. I mean, in Maru, on paper, the best Terran versus Terran player in the world. Well, we may have to revise that particular paper. But that brings us to our bonus game. This match happened because of this unlikely elimination match. Beyond versus Maru. Beyond versus Maru. I'll let you know the series. Well, we'll watch one of the games, but not nearly as drawn out with these two. But Beyond versus Maru is our bonus game, our anti-spoiler, oh, you checked the video time and you thought you knew who won sort of game, which we don't have every time, but throwing it in occasionally, I think both we can cover some of the other series that honestly showing a bunch of mirror matchups doesn't do great unless it is like Maru versus Beyond. And you know what? It's Maru versus Beyond. Though I know this game is explosive. And by that I mean not particularly drawn out, but also very dramatic as well. Beyond has a very different approach than GuMiho, but similar in many ways as well. AKA, they're both very aggressive when they've decided on it. But Beyond usually does the most micro-intensive, running around the map like medevacs, reapers sort of units, whereas GuMiho does this kind of blitzkrieg tank push that just relatively quickly dismantles Maru. Not that Beyond wins this game. That wasn't a spoiler. I'm not actually sure. I just know Maru versus Beyond is the match that most people would not have expected to be an elimination match, but here we are. All right, we gotta calm down from GuMiho here. I'm expecting some more conventional TVT, some Marines, some tanks. Sure, probably Vikings. By the way, Beyond did do a proxy Rex Reaper, but Maru figured it out and had plenty to defend against it. Widowmine on the way, the cheapest option to try to pick off at least one. And if you get one Reaper, and maybe even get some more splash damage, that can be pretty devastating. Oh, wasted a shot on the refinery. And now Beyond. You saw the Widowmine pop out as well, so there's no more. That's the end of that. Barracks on the way across. Reaper's gonna work their way around again. It is always hard in TVT. It's tech chicken, essentially. We saw it a lot with the Vikings, but another thing that's kind of fallen a bit out of style is even though we saw last game, the early Raven, somewhat. Essentially not having the Viking count means you got to use those Ravens aggressively. So a lot of players will opt for just going straight to Vikings, but it really is dealer's choice. What advantage you're trying to get, what you think you can afford, because Vikings are pretty heavy on the minerals, especially if a reactor early. So a Raven can help pick things apart. But I think this is the split of players we're used to seeing. Maru getting a siege tank. The barracks, I mean the Overlord, the barracks, finally shot down. Maru getting a siege tank and a Raven. Of course, he was under vision, so playing it about as middle of the road as possible. And Beyond, of course, just gonna throw a medevac drop with double cyclone in, because that's what we're gonna do. So this is incredibly risky. This is like high risk, medium reward. As the double cyclone can't kill too much meaningfully before Maru reacts. But if he loses the medevac, especially with the cyclones inside, he has so few units left. Almost saves both. Ends up killing a siege tank and getting out with the medevac and the cyclone. So about... I mean, getting out with both cyclones would obviously be best case scenario, but still. Manages to snipe off a tank. What do we got behind? Double medevac. More aggression. You do not build medevacs in TVT until you're ready to attack. Otherwise, you might as well be going for air. Even if you're going for bomb, you might as well be going for air control. Because building those medevacs, they are essentially just drop ships in this matchup. As seeding air control is sometimes just a fancier way to say losing. Well, Beyond actually, well, with these extra production facilities, he built the 2 racks quicker. He has no upgrade. He has no engineering base. Maru has 3 CCs and went double upgrades. And now he's building more barracks. He's building turrets. So essentially the amount he spent on not units is potentially his downfall. He has 2 siege tanks. He knows Beyond has a tendency towards this. He knows Beyond wants to go this direction. 2 siege tanks pre-sieged in the main. Widowmine unburrows, making it look good. Spots it with the cyclone. Maru knows. These scans are incredibly suspicious. You do not scan like this unless you know what you want. And right now, Beyond wants to drop directly into the main. The SCVs are pulled in a very timely manner, though. And 3 tanks are already sieged up. 13 SCVs are taken out by Beyond. And he gets out with the majority of his units, despite 3 tanks being sieged. So... it could be worse, but now Beyond acknowledging that Maru has defended, builds double engineering bay and a 3rd command center. Though, much, much later. And then he picks up. And he thought about heading towards the main. Maru setting out the double drop. Oh my god, there's 6 medevacs full of units across the map. Oh, and he's flying over a widow mine. Potentially disastrous. Instead, does pretty much okay. He's just gonna siege. That Raven has full energy, but it hasn't used any of it yet. Wants to scramble the tanks. Gets 2 of them, but the double drop in the back. Wait. Maru comes back around. Beyond. There's still a few Marines. Siege tank. Okay. Yeah, it's Beyond versus Maru. Let's see. It seems like Beyond got cleaned up there. He actually has more workers at the end of it. But Maru has flipped the supply lead. The tank count is 4-2. Oh no! Almost gets the medevac, still with some key units inside. Beyond trying to defend his third command center. He has a couple tanks. Maru chased him down, snaps him up into a medevac again. But here comes Maru. Not willing to sit back, sees no reason to do so. Right now he has the map control, he has the army, and he could potentially press through. Beyond, overcommitted. On the other side, I mean, he did not expect the double drop to come back around and end up raining men all over his siege tanks, but that is what ended up happening. And now Maru on the doorstep of victory. Beyond on the precipice of defeat. As the Desperation Liberators have hit the field, there's a single tank. He's trying to get to the Liberators, eating the siege tank fire. One Liberator down, gets two. Siege tank still doing terrible, terrible damage. 1-1 versus 0-0. Beyond's 1-1 may finish, but we'll see if he types 2 Gs first. He does. Maru! Oh. A much more aggressive, hectic style these two have. Really, I think highlighting the difference between Beyond and GuMiho overall. Maru, this is what Maru wanted to play like against GuMiho, but I think the slower, steady style actually threw him off more than Beyond's Chaos Blender. But hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Some great DVTs in the GSL, which, if they weren't, well then, we wouldn't have much at all. So thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. Jimmy, 1,085? 1,085 left. Cast another series. Probably do it anyway. So thank you for watching. Subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Stay chill.